Alright, so let's take our internal polygon tool once more, and now we'll be applying some changes to the waistband. And we're going to create horizontal lines that go across the whole waistband. So once you get to the end, double click. And another line like that, somewhere around here, to the very end, and double click. I'm going to take my edit pattern tool and just select both of these internal lines, Control C and Control V, and I'm just going to position them to the back side as well. Alright, now we're going to do the same technique we used with the pockets, and that is create another layer clone. So basically we're just going to be making another pattern that's going to be sewn on top of this. So select the pattern that you have, right click and go layer clone over. Now I'm just going to, I need to organize this a bit better, and I'm going to put my patterns for the shorts a bit lower and position the layer clone right next to the waistband. And let's do the same for the back side. So select the pattern, make sure to select all of it, right click and select layer clone. And let's try to simulate that. Okay, and as you can see, we got some interesting effects right here. We can also try, as we did with the pockets, try to make... Oh, I see that I made a mistake here, that I didn't exactly copy the whole pattern. Okay, that can be easily fixed by deleting that. And really make sure that when you select the pattern, you select all of it. Right click and layer clone over again. Alright, this one won't have a mistake. Okay, there we go. Now we can apply the same changes as we did before with the pockets. So let's make them bigger. And let's select the back one as well. So press Shift to select both of these. And let's just make them a bit bigger, and let's simulate. Okay, now we get an interesting effect. Let's also try to enable elastic. We spoke about that in the previous clip. So let's go ahead and take our edit pattern tool, since we'll be selecting the lines anyway. Let's select both of these lines and enable elasticity. And as you can see, it's pulling a bit too hard. And we can adjust that with the strength and also with the ratio. If you make it bigger, then the elastic won't pull so hard. Let's also check the particle distance. And I see that it's set to the default by 20, so let's take both of the waistbands and reduce the particle distance to 10, so we'll have more detail, and you'll see that the simulation will go a lot smoother once we do that. And actually, I think I need to select this pattern once more, pull it out a bit, and simulate again. Alright, now that way we get this interesting effect of the waistband. Now we'll also be taking a look at the Steam tool that can be found right here in the 2D window. Now what the Steam tool basically does, we can either make certain areas looser or tighter. And it's basically very similar to the shrinkage, weft, and warp setting. But when we use those settings, it usually applies to all of the patterns. But the Steam brush tool only affects the area where we click on it. So if I set the shrinkage to default by -3, and as you can see, the radius is colored in blue. And if I click on the pattern right here, you can see that it's getting tighter and tighter, and it's pulling apart the fabric more and more. And if I want to go the other way around, I need to push this shrinkage to be above 0. So let's go to 7. And as you can see, the circles around the Steam brush are now in red. And once I apply this, you can see that I'm basically eliminating the effect that I had before with the red color. And I'm able to apply the wrinkles that I want. Now this is a very powerful tool because before this was introduced into MD, we had to manipulate the patterns and their fabrics and so on so long that we would get wrinkles where we want to. But now we don't even have to worry about that. We just need to click basically on the areas that we want our wrinkles to be without manipulating the patterns. So let's say if I would also want to create some wrinkles around here, so under her bottom, I can simply just go and click on this area to get this effect, and this is all without even changing the patterns. So right now I'm getting a lot more realistic effect, and you can also see you have here settings for the size, so you can also change the radius of the circles and of course also the hardness. With that set, we can take a look at another interesting tool available in MD that is called the Pleats Fold tool, which we will do in the next clip.